there you are. Wanted to talk to you. You and I, we've... You know how sometimes you spend time with people and things.
I love you too, Ogren.
I was thinking, I do know some people out here on the surface. A person, actually. A girl I knew in Orzammar. Before I left, obviously. Her name's Felsi. She and I were friends after Branka left for the deep roads. I'm sure she's forgiven me by now. Thought maybe I'd track her down, see how she's been living. I tried to look her up the last time we were at Lake Calenhad. She wasn't at work at the inn. At home with her sick mother, they said.
So that squeaking sound is worse for the dwarves.
But I keep thinking about her.
In Orzammar and speaking to Ogren, it's just always worse for some reason.
Well, and a good friend you are, Warden. Now, what was it you wanted to say? What about?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, sure. I mean, she was a real firebrand between the sheets.
Jesus.
But a bit soft in the skull, you know what I mean? Explains why she left, anyway. Handling what? Bronc ancestors take me. Come to talk to old Ogren, have you? Nothing. Did you want to talk about something? What about? It's sodding great. At first I was a little queasy with all that air, but there's just so much of it. No one has any idea who you are or what you're doing. And the ale. Oh, who'd have thought? Ale made with grain. Aye.
What do they drink down
there? Is great.
I guess mushrooms.
It's like a big, bright world of filth without a ceiling. My kind of place. Hey, let's go find something to kill. Just leave me alone, Warden. Upset. Ugh. Did you want to talk about something? What about? What? Miss Orzammar? Are you mad, in addition to being ugly? They treated me like a puddle fly back there. I'm never going back. All right. Ass chaps. You sod. Tell that thing to give it back. It's all a part. I'll show him. Yeah, I don't need my pen. Aye. You hear that, Nug Humper? I'm coming for you. Prepare to die. I got a moment, sure. What about? You get a sword or an axe, and are told to go out and defend your city. It's the best thing in the world. I mean, they train you to kill, teach you to harness your rage at the first noise you hear, then try to set 100 sodding rules about it. Like those provings. Ancestors show their favor through the strongest arm, right? So why so many rules saying how to fight, and when you win, and not to bloody kill? Killing's what swords are for. If that's how you feel, I'll try. This makes me cranky. Don't you have any other inane questions? All right. I've been watching you. Where can I get some sauce for that rump roast? Ooh,
right here, you dwarf stallion.
Go and make your...
You know, maybe this isn't the best time to be thinking about this, but I've something to ask you. Chances are we'll be heading to Denerim soon. And when we're there, I wonder if we might be able to... I'm not talking about a friend. The thing is, I have a sister, a half-sister. I told you about my mother, right? She was a servant at Redcliffe Castle and she had a daughter. Only I never knew about her. I don't think she knew about me either. They kept my birth a secret after all. But after I became a Grey Warden, I did some checking and, well, I found out she's still alive. In Denerim. No. I thought about writing her, but I never did. She's the only real family I have left. The only family not also mixed up in the whole royal thing. With the blight coming and everything, I don't know if I'll ever get another chance to see her. Maybe I can help her. Warn her about the danger, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about her except her name and where she lives. Her name is Goldana, and I think she remarried but still lives just outside the alien. Something on your mind? Of course. Never what? Had a good pair of shoes? Oh, so that's what we're talking about. Well, if you really want to know, and apparently I myself never had the pleasure. Not that I haven't thought about it, of course. Well, living in the Chantry is it's not exactly a life for rambunctious boys. They raised me to be a gentleman. That's not so bad. I've no urge to rush into it.
I mean,
Something on your mind?
curious.
Of course. You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden? You know, I asked Duncan this too. And all I... Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare. Really? I saw you eating dinner the other day. Savage. Ah yes, the classy camaraderie of two men. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others, everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come. Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The taint, it's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition. You'll always find Darkspawn down where the dwarves are. The oldest Grey Wardens head to the deep roads for one last glorious battle. Not that there's a shortage of Darkspawn during a blight, but that's the tradition. The dwarves respect us for it. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. Well, there you have it. I suppose it is. We're the only ones who can stop the blight, however. Is there a price too high to pay for that? You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him. I know. Ending the blight. Something on your mind? Of course. I didn't know them for very long. They were quite a group. Actually, they felt like an extended family. We also laughed more than you'd think. There was this one time... Well, you probably don't want to hear stories about men you didn't know. There was one Grey Warden who came all the way from the Anderfells. What was his name? Gregor. He was a burly man with the biggest, fuzziest beard you've ever seen. And the man could drink. He drank all the time, but he never got drunk. Finally, we all made a pool to see just how many pints it would take to put him under the table. Sometimes, we were kin of a sort.
So they had to bet money on the pool. Also, provide the money to buy all of his drink.
It doesn't have to be deadly serious all the time. Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he nearly... Until... Yes, I suppose so. I thought I was done with this, but it just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by. Nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token of his that I could take with me. I just would have...
What are you talking about? We have his sword.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Do you mind if I ask?
What happens if you
How
blow up a
about
nuke?
Ogren?
About
You
the
must have
height
an
that the
opinion on the
International
spell,
Space Station
at the very
is.
least. As long as he stays downwind, sure. Once he's had a bit to drink, however... Where? You didn't think that big pack he brings with him is full of equipment? Not that it's all bad.
He walked the brewery?
More than
Oh my
it has
god.
Charms, I suppose. I just don't think you need to drink to the point of blindness every time. I would too if he could stick to the though I suppose the point is that he does lift it. Zevran, the elf. You can't trust him, can you? Really? Why? That's a lot of trust to put in some... What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. The more I talk... And yet, he killed all those people. He doesn't even... I don't know if I... What about Liliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really... That's what... I don't know what to make of her. If you look at her when she doesn't see you, she just looks so... True enough. Who'd have thought a sister would prove to be an adept? Morrigan. Do you trust her? Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent her with us for some other reason than she said. Hello? Have you met her? I think she'd need a reason not to betray us. Just tell me one thing. Is it true what the others say? Do you have a thing? Great. Enough. I think my... Something on your mind? Of course.
Yeah, you have a lot of dialogue and also companion
No
quests.
matter why you did it, it's
all sorts
it
of
was
shit.
done. And I, and the crows, we do not have friends. And yet here you are, and I cannot help but consider you such. Then allow me to say this. What we are doing here, stopping the Blight, I cannot think of anything I have ever done which is so worthy. I intend to see this through to the end with you. After all, someone must take responsibility for preventing your untimely death. A suitable task for a friend, yes? Now, isn't that odd? Just a year ago, Taliesin was telling me, Zevran, why are your plans always so horrid? Planning has never been my strong suit. Now, killing and lovemaking. Killing and lovemaking and witty retorts. Those I am better at. I forget where I was going with this. Well, no matter. Your wish? Whatever you'd like to ask. Yes, I suppose it is time. You have been a good friend to me after all. There is a reason I accepted
Yeah,
this
you
mission.
gave me all those
very
thoughtful
far away
gifts.
from home, and it had nothing to do with
Yeah?
any thought that I might leave the crows. Meeting you, after all, was quite an accident. My last mission before this one did not end well. You must realize that until that day I was cocky and arrogant. I was the best crow in Antiva, I believed, and I bragged of my conquests often. Indeed, I was often told I was insufferable, right before I ended up in bed with someone. Such is how it was. One of the crow masters grew tired of my boasting. My bid for an incredibly difficult mark was accepted, much to my surprise. A wealthy merchant with many guards and completely silent. Taliesin agreed to be part of my team, as well as an elven lass named Rina. She was a marvel. Tough, smooth, wicked. Eyes that gleamed like justice. Everything I thought I desired. Rina was special. I had closed off my heart, I thought. But she touched something within me. It frightened me. When Taliesin revealed to me that Rena had accepted a bribe from the merchant, told him of our plan, I readily agreed that she needed to pay the price and allowed Taliesin to kill her. Rena begged me not to. On her knees, with tears in her eyes, she told me that she loved me and had not betrayed us. I laughed in her face and said that even if it were true, I didn't care. I convinced myself it was. Taliesin cut her throat, and I watched her bleed as she stared up at me. I spat on her for betraying the crows. When Taliesin and I finally assassinated the merchant, we found the true source of his information. Rena had not betrayed us, after all. Of course not. I didn't care to know. I wanted to tell the crows what we had done, our mistake. Taliesin convinced me not to. He said it would be a foolish waste. So we reported that Rena had died in the attempt. We needn't have bothered. The crows knew what we had done. The master who disliked me told me so to my face. He said the crows knew, and they didn't care. And one day, my turn would come. I felt empty. I felt as if I was nothing. I felt as if she had been nothing. You once asked why I wanted to leave the crows. In truth, what I wanted was to die. What better way than to throw myself at one of the fabled Grey Wardens? And then, this happened, and here I am. It feels good to speak of it to someone. Whatever it is I sought by leaving Antiva, I think I have found it. I owe you a great deal. Let us return to your wish? Whatever you'd like to ask. Your wish? Again? I'm game.
Oh, hello. Is there something you wanted to talk about? It's nothing. I'm fine. I'm just thinking. I can't get what happened out of my head. I'd been in Lothering for years, and she still thought I was plotting against her. She didn't trust me. Maybe she never did. She loved me when she could use me and control me. And now that she can't, she wants me dead. It hurts to realize that I never really knew her. You're already helping so much by listening to me. I knew she was ruthless, but I didn't know how far she could go. She is self-serving, cruel. What if she's right? What if we're the same? I should just have stayed in the Chantry. You don't understand. I forgot my life as a bard while I was in the cloister. I felt safe. That's what made Marjolaine the person she is, don't you see? Even now, I feel some regret at not ending her life in order to protect my own. What we're doing, what we've done, hunted men down, killed them. Part of me loves it. It invigorates me, and this scares me. I feel myself slipping. How can you be so sure? Do you really think so? Hearing you say that gives me comfort. I would like to be alone for now. I have made... She's a lucky girl, Morrigan. She caught your eye. Though looking at her, it is not difficult to see why. Well, I want... You've seen and touched Andraste's ashes. They are the holiest thing on this. Maybe it is belief and faith that imbues them with their power. Or just maybe Andraste really
so much
was
shit
blessed
I've
by him.
neglected.
I do not know if I am worthy to look upon him.
Yeah. Really.
Why shouldn't I? I don't understand.
Gonna have several episodes of dialogue out of this play session.
Right? Fucking A.
If the Maker has not truly abandoned us, why would Andraste need to intercede with the Maker on our behalf? I have never thought of this. I revere her because she's the Maker's divine bride. I do not have any other explanation. Why? If the Maker has not abandoned us, does that make it necessarily true that Andraste was nothing? I know it sounds irrational. I know that look. You have some... Of course. We've traveled far and wide. Does it need to end? There's so much out there. Adventures to be had and stories to be told. I want to be part of it all. I might need some company. And you're not too irritating. You're welcome to come along if you like. It is settled then. I know that look.
Doesn't
you
happen,
have something
by the
on...
way.
Of course.
Because she shows up
There are many rumors
in Inquisition and it's like, oh, there's someone I haven't
What are you referring to
spoken
exactly?
to in forever. Ah, yes.
I see it as the Great Warden hasn't appeared in the last 4.5 games.
I admit I have done many despicable things in my lifetime. I do what I have
Very
to.
interesting
So do you.
Grey
So
Warden
does
can appear in
everybody.
the next one.
Sometimes we must do terrible things to get
Because I
what
left
we
my
want.
Grey Warden alive.
If it is any consolation, I always try to use non-violent means to achieve my ends. Some bards rely on torture to get what they want, but there are better ways, more subtle and kind. You will be surprised how easily a person will open up to you, even if all you offer is a listening ear. People respond eagerly to others who they believe understand them. They seek approval, friendship, sometimes love. This can be exploited. You don't think it is? I took what I wanted from them, leaving them none the wiser and unharmed. It is a game, one that can be won with little bloodshed if one plays well. Isn't it? Everyone can be seduced by the right woman. The trick is predicting who
Honey,
she
you
is
don't know
and
me,
becoming
fucking
her.
bitch.
Master the game, and no one can resist you. Well, it doesn't really. I see your point. We will slay this darkspawn using conventional means, pointy sticks and all that. But come,
I got a pointy
it
stick
is
for
getting
you.
late. I know that look. You have some... Of course. Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Which one? It will come to you soon. Chantry lore. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city.
Oh, that was my fault.
But they were impure and full of
Did you
sin.
think it crashed?
Yeah.
And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting
I haven't done that in a
it
while.
forever. The Maker
Yeah.
cursed them, and
Then
cursed
again,
them from
you
his
don't play
soul.
this very often.
Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin.
In the last 5
Any
sessions,
land
I haven't
that
done
was
it.
touched
Seeing
by
the way
taint
you rest your
became
hand on the
lighted
keyboard
and
is
would
really
suffer no
interesting
life.
because I've never seen anything like it.
Instead,
Well, I mean, this is not my
darts
normal
on the road
resting.
to
This is
and
my
remind us of our hubris.
shortening dialogue button right here.
Ah, it's,
This is my normal resting.
okay, that makes more sense.
I know that look. You have something on your...
What is your wish, Kadan? I am hardly surprised. To put it lightly, no one has a place here. Our farmers wish to be merchants. The merchants dream of being nobles, and the nobles become warriors. No one is content to be who they are. Very well. Speak, then. Then I suggest we move on. As
I am listening.
You're good? Hey, baby!
I wish to ask a question of you. I wish to know your opinion of love. You and I have been intimate, for one. We have been close for some time now. You are impressive.
Yeah, I got a big fat
in
dick.
many ways, and you even protected me from Flemeth without hope of reward. I feel anxious when I look upon you. I dislike this sense of dependency. is a weakness I abhor. If this is love, I wish to ascertain that you do not feel the same. Then we are both fools, and we need to do something immediately. I have allowed myself to become too close. This is a weakness for us both. You are not listening to me. This is for your own good. I am not like other women. I am not worth your distraction, and you are not worth mine. Perhaps you are right. We enjoy each other's company. Why make it more than it is? I think you will regret it in the end, but so be it.
Oof.
So, full of questions, are you? Now I have enough time to study Mother's grimoire to find a way to prevent her from stealing my body in the future. For she will be back. One day, I have no doubt of that. And if I cannot protect myself, one day I will track her down again in whatever body she inhabits, and she will die again and again if need be. But there is no need to think of such things now. I have you to thank for saving me, so let us return to the task of dealing with the Darkspawn, no? I think a time shall come when I will repay you. Do not worry. Your desire? So, full of... Your desire? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any. I think not. Simply because I have warmed your bedroll before does not mean you'll have to forgive me if I do not leap at your command like a trained warhound. I simply... Your desire? We are in camp, so 'tis as good... I said no. Your desire? We are in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any... Ah. Your desire? We are in camp. I said no.
This bish.
How's your brother?
I had hoped to see him while I was in... May I help you? This is Ermenric's. Explain yourself. My brother would no more part with this ring than with his head. He's alive, then? Please, if you have any news of my brother, I would hear it. A dungeon? What? No. I will go to him at once. Someone will answer for this. Take this with my thanks. It has been in my family since the War of Crowns, crafted for us by the Circle of Magi. An heirloom is a small thing compared to my brother's life.
You'll have to excuse me. I'm engaged at present.
You've met him. The man-made viper. Whoever you are, Wait.
I'm a ghost.
I know. My son described you in great detail. He tells me that I owe you his life. When I saw my poor boy's legs, I only wish House still lived that I might tear him apart myself. I would bring troops against his son. But Oswin tells me Thomas had no part in his father's depravity. Is there anything you would ask as a reward for saving Oswin? Thank you again. Know that I will stand behind you at the Landsmeet with all the support I can muster. In fact, I am taking my supper today with Ban Reginalda of the White River Benorn. I'll speak with her about this at once.
Yeah.
I cannot thank
politics.
you enough.
Politics.
Everyone in the city has.
I hope you like politics, because that's going to be a lot of Inquisition.
Huh?